Let's pretend we're professional and let's actually do a show, shall we?
Oh shit, we should pretend. Do your best.
All right, this is episode 6, and we got some pretty cool news for you today. Do you want to start off, or do you want me to read the first one? Because I feel like you might be more excited for the second one.
Go ahead and read the first one.
Okay. Our first story is Flesh of the Void, Daughter of Dismay filmmaker announces new film, The Harrowing Lies of God. That's a very powerful title, by the way.
Put some stank on it.
The Harrowing Lies of God.
Yeah, there you go.
I liked it.
Put some stank.
I was kind of proud of myself. James
Put
Quinn.
that in an album.
Feel free to sample it. James Quinn has revealed the first teaser poster for his next project, The Harrowing Lies of God, as well as some juicy details. An existentialism epic shot on 35mm film that will shock your senses while featuring some of the most bombastic imagery I've shot so far, is a direct quote from the director. He's reluctant to reveal more details about the film at this time, but assures moviegoers that he has some amazing people lined up to work on this, and he can't wait to announce the film, what the film is about, and what it connects to. He goes on to compare the visuals of the film to his previous work, Daughter of Dismay, though this particular venture will be much darker. He goes on to say, with a theme that will be sure to give you existential dread for days. And that's really all we have to go on. The movie is like brand new. I don't believe they've even started production yet. I think they're still in like the writing phase. So it sounds amazing. From what I was able to gather, James Quinn, I mean, there's 2 movies that they've already cited already, but he's not a stranger to horror film directing. So, I mean, great director. Sounds like he's hired a bunch of professionals to work on this film. And I mean, just that title, The Harrowing Lies of God. Like, how do you not want to see that?
I feel like the only thing that could fuck anything up is bad production, you know,
Sure.
like, or a producer company, like a production company be like, what if you did it like this?
Yeah, kind of like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? They give them notes on stuff that tries to make it more, I don't know, commercial friendly, I guess, or
Going over dailies, and we were wondering if could you change a couple things?
Can you tone back the darkness a little bit? It's just.
But what if instead of God being the bad guy, like, bruh,
People may not want to see something like that, bruh. Coming in clutch with the soundboard, I love it. So that story came from Bloody Disgusting. In the chat is a link to the movie poster. If you guys want to check it out, it actually looks fucking amazing. And
take
just
a looky.
the image is actually kind of frightening on its own. So, I mean, he's setting the stage for a great reception for this movie. Let's just see if they deliver.
Hopefully.
Who knows?
So, I'm not gonna lie. The second story,
Mm-hmm.
I nearly shit when I read it, and I found it myself.
Oh, did you?
Like, I found it independent. Yeah, like I'm written into this.
Okay.
But Jamie Lee Curtis set to direct horror film Mother Nature for Blumhouse, which I love Blumhouse right now. Like, they could kick a baby, and I'd be like, but what was the baby doing? They could do no wrong by me at the moment.
Kick the baby.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They could host a big event with a bunch of people, and I would go right now.
Like the
No,
pump,
I'm kidding.
the pump, pass, and kick of baby kicking.
Yeah, exactly. Just like a big marathon of baby. What the fuck, dude? That's at the end of the YouTube video right there. Starting strong.
Weren't you just talking about being brand friendly earlier, and now we're talking about kicking babies?
Different. I had to get all that out. Get the baby kicking out early, then it's all uphill, you know, like, or it's all downhill. Well, what's better? I don't know, dude. It's all better from here.
Sure, I believe you. Keep going.
Yeah. So Deadline reports that Curtis and production company Cornet Pictures have signed a 3-year first look film and TV deal with Blumhouse with Mother Nature as part of the deal. The film is centered around climate change, and Curtis will both be directing and co-writing the script alongside Russell Goldman, also Comet Pictures. I said Cornet, didn't I?
Did you?
I don't have my glasses.
I heard Comet.
Oh.
Maybe I have
Yeah,
ear,
I mean, I totally did it right the first time.
maybe I have ear dyslexia. I don't know.
Easy read. You left for 1 second. What happened? We were not talking about kicking babies. I don't understand where you would have gotten that from.
Your phone died? No problem. I run into that problem more times than I care to admit.
My phone is literally about to die right now, and I just don't care to go charge it.
I'm prepared.
Jeez. Curtis has also been slated to direct Lifetime movie How We Slept at Night, the Sarah Cunningham story, which comes out first. The release will be Curtis' first directorial debut. And this came from Bloody Disgusting.
They have some great stories, by the way. If you guys are looking for like independent horror news and you don't just want to get it from us, please don't. Feel free to check them out. And anytime they write some great stuff. And
But also check us out.
But yeah, also check us out because we tend to rewrite some of their articles and they, a little bit more compressed for a podcast, easier to digest. But if you want to check out the full story, just let us know. We'll include links into the chats and all that kind of shit. All that cool stuff. Are you doing the box face thing?
No. Love you, boy.
That's really it for the news, though. I'm kind of stoked to see what Jamie Lee Curtis does. My wife used to watch that Scream Queen show.
Yeah.
And
I really liked her in that.
She directed a couple of those episodes, if not like a full season or something like that. I don't know the full details about how she was involved. I know she was on the show, and I know she was on production in some way. I want to say she directed at least a handful of episodes.
Well, I know they definitely wanted her involved because she's the prototype of the last girl.
Yeah. She kind of sets the standard, though, doesn't she?
She does.
Like, for sure.
She's got that scream, too.
Oh, the patented horror scream. I feel like she almost perfected it.
I mean, it's hard to... I don't know. I don't want to put anyone above her, but, it's been, 42 years now?
Has it really?
Yeah, man. Halloween came out 40... I mean, not that we're 42, but...
Well, no, but still, it's kind of...
It's nuts.
That's a crazy number to think about. So I believe we're ready to jump into this movie. How about you?
Oh, dude. I'm so ready. I love the Serpent and the Rainbow.
So I want to say, before we really move into this segment, tonight I watched the movie for the very first time. I meant to watch it last night, but it took forever for it to download. Shudder said they had a copy of it, and I went to go look. It's not there anymore. So I had to find a copy of it to watch on my phone, which was a weird experience in of itself. But, whoa. Like, I did not know what to expect going in. Had never seen the movie or even heard about it until you told me about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was locked in.
So good.
From the opening scene to the very end. I mean, even like the end credits, I was just kind of like, holy crap. Because I've always had respect for Bill Pullman as an actor. And getting to see some of his earlier stuff was just a really cool experience. And he's just so good in this.
Doesn't it make you respect Wes Craven that much more?
Absolutely. The fact that he was able to do something that, from my perspective, I could be completely wrong here. Horror movie fans, feel free to correct me. I feel like this one kind of flew under the radar a little bit.
It's a hidden gem. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't get as much love as it deserves. Do you want to can you show a preview of it? Am I asking too much?
No, I'm pretty sure we can.
So it's about Haitian zombies. Like voodoo zombies, grave robbing, stuff like that. Bill Pullman, his character is assigned to go to Haiti to collect whatever this agent is that makes people basically non-responsive, like seemingly dead. He specifically goes after a guy who was declared dead, buried, but then found 7 years later. Looking for, I get we do have like a synopsis actually pulled up, and I'll read that in just a second. Yeah, they find the guy 7 years after his funeral, very much alive, but acting abnormal, I guess I want to say.
That's a good way to describe it.
I'll give you the synopsis. In a time of social and political unrest in Haiti, anthropologist Dennis Allen, Bill Pullman, travels to the torn country to study a voodoo drug used in religious practices to turn victims into living zombies. With the help of a witch doctor, Brent Jennings, and a fellow researcher, Kathy Tyson, Dennis pieces together a deadly mystery, but Dennis uncovers the secrets behind the mysterious powder. He must evade Haitian authorities, who view his research as a potential threat.
And that's
so good.
That's like 1% of what goes on in this movie. So we're going to switch over real quick to a trailer, and stick with us on this show because we're actually going to be messing around with some new tools in the coming weeks that's going to help streamline this whole experience. So some experimentation is coming along, but for now, we're just going to transition over into a preview screen, and we'll let you guys enjoy the trailer. It's only about 1.5 minutes, and then we'll come back, and we're going to talk up this fucking movie because there's a lot to go over. So stick around. Here comes the trailer, The Serpent and the Rainbow.
From Wes Craven, director of A Nightmare on Elm Street, comes a story of the forbidden world between life and death.
There's a door to the mystical, and you just walk through it.
Can you turn the video up slightly?
Yeah.
In the grave. And I want to know how they did it.
Death is not the end.
I'll take your soul.
You think you can take these people's secrets and just walk away?
In the shadows of the imagination lies the ultimate nightmare.
Don't let them bury me. I'm not dead.
The Serpent and the Rainbow.
So that was the trailer for The Serpent and the Rainbow. And dude, it's just it's so good. What are you doing?
What did I just watch? It's Vector. It's like $4 on Amazon, and I highly recommend this.
Kitty! Yeah, she's active right now, so I'm just kind of keeping her company. Dude, like I I'm so glad I wrote notes because I'm kind of speechless.
Okay, so I have some notes too.
Well, why don't you kick it off, man? You introduced me to this movie, so I feel like tonight's really your gig.
Right. So my first note is it reminds me of the opening to Cannibal Holocaust.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen it. That's kind of obscure too, and one that we probably won't cover for a long time because that's like some advanced level.
I've heard of it, and because of hearing of it, I've been reluctant to watch it.
Yeah. But literally, Bill Pullman, like he fucking arrives in a helicopter to talk to a medicine man.
Right. Yeah, like a shaman.
Yeah, and finds out that his spirit animal is what was that, a puma?
It was a jaguar.
Jaguar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fudge, now you feel like you need to scrub your eyeballs from the trailer alone. It's so good, though. I'm telling you right now. Watch it in the daytime. I don't care. There's no jump scares.
No, there's not. There's really not.
There's no need to suspend disbelief because they're very scientific about. Well, I'll take that back. There's no large suspension of disbelief. Because everything is pretty well based in science. And then once you get to the end, you're kind of like, what the hell?
There's definitely some what the hell moments throughout the movie.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to your first note.
My first note, okay, so this one might get a little winded, so feel free to stop me at any point. But the movie is actually based on a true story. And this is actually something I have come across a couple of times, and I've heard like little excerpts and stuff on some TV shows and things of that nature. The whole practice of voodoo in Haiti, I mean, dates back centuries, and this whole realm of so-called zombification, or creating real-life zombies, has been a ritual of theirs for almost as long. There was some what did I look up? There's a plant that they sometimes use called jatropha in some of these rituals. It's really kind of crazy. At first, I thought it was one of those, they discovered it a couple of years ago. It's a drug that they've been giving people, like to tourists and stuff in foreign countries, that like totally makes them susceptible to suggestion, and like the native people were like using them to like steal shit from other tourists and like do all kinds of crazy shit. I'll have to look it up and like dive into it more. It's a fucking crazy story, dude, but it was like some actual shit that was going down. But the real story behind it is about a guy named Clairvius Narcisse, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing the fuck out of that, and I apologize. He checked into a local hospital in 1962. When he got there, he began experiencing a host of ailments, fever, trouble breathing. He felt like there were bugs crawling all over him and shit, like just all kinds of weird stuff were going on. And it wasn't long after that the doctors actually pronounced him dead. A few days later, he was buried. Life goes on as normal. This guy died. We buried him. That's a thing that happened. Go on with the grief. Like, everyone's trying to go on life as normal, go through the grieving process and all that kind of shit. Everyone would have thought that to be the end of the story until in 1981, when his sister Angelina saw him walking down the street. Bizarre task, considering not one, but two American doctors had actually declared him dead in 1962. If you want to see more about that story, you want to read the full article, it's on the13thfloor.tv. It gets kind of winded, and I don't want to use too much of our time, but that is a fucking crazy story. Like, this is actually something that ended up happening. After researching that and seeing how it lined up with the film, it just made me appreciate it all that much more.
Yeah, there's like, I'm usually pretty skeptical when a movie's like based on real events or based on a true story. You're like, 2% of this really happened. Fuck you.
Yeah. They
like,
tend to.
It was really just some guy named Dennis.
Yeah,
and that's it.
He was studying anthropology. He wasn't an anthropologist yet.
He didn't even go to Haiti. He went to Hawaii. Man.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, of course.
I knew you were going there.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, your next one.
So obvious witch doctor is obvious.
Right, though.
They went all out on this dude.
They really did. And I don't know how much of that was actually like researched or not. Judging on the rest of the film, I'm assuming that it was. But like, I think the beginning of the film doesn't actually take place in Haiti. It takes place in the Amazon down in South America.
Yeah, Rio de Janeiro, I believe.
Somewhere around there, yeah. And then actually, it goes into my next note. They gave him like an ayahuasca trip.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where he finds out that his spirit animal is
because they hand him that little bowl and it's got like a tea in it, and the way he started like acting and the way like the hallucinations kicked in and everything, I'm like, that looks like an ayahuasca trip. And I started looking into it, and there's actually like a list of hallucinogenic plants that are used in some of these rituals, and ayahuasca is one of them.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Seeing all these kind of like all these different things line up. I was just like, oh, they really went like and looked some of this shit up and tried to put it in the, like, Wes Cravens is just such a fucking good director, man.
So good. R.I.P. in heaven, big guy.
Hell yeah, man.
I don't want to sound culturally insensitive.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just like with like how authentic is that witch doctor, you know?
Right.
Like is it really like that, or are they is that like the Americanized version of like a witch doctor, you know? Or witch medicine man. Holy shit, dude. I don't, is witch doctor okay to say? Are we canceled?
As long as he didn't.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, I was gonna go into the song, and that would have been really insensitive. So I'm just gonna stop myself.
I was in love with you. Woof.
Dodging bullets here on the Deadboy Lounge.
Yeah.
Moist and loins 2%.
Yeah. Tell me I'm wrong. Based on real events. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I did have a question mark on there, but it got answered almost right away. Like when they first open it, it almost looks like there's a black market for caskets.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I guess
like the guy comes out dressed, he's like in full costume, is like Dumbledore, like
and
sorry,
openly
Dumbledore.
wielding a gun.
Yeah,
Like pointing it at these people that are building caskets. So I'm like, oh shit, he's coming to pick up. Like he's collecting right now.
You learned about shaman and medicine man today during your reading for class. So, could you tell us, like, are they really like face paint and fucking bone through the nose and
Like elaborate
No.
dress, ceremonial, like all the time. I'm in a substance abuse class and it's in my book about shamans. Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Well, let us know if that's what it's actually like, or if that's just like a trope.
Yeah, like is that something they just kind of made a creative choice with, or is that something we can actually say was fairly accurate? Because I mean, he was very colorful. He was dressed in like what looked like some dead grass, some feathers, possibly some other textile fabrics that they have. I could be completely wrong, but it did. I don't know. Like, there's a huge question mark. Is like, is this a legitimate representation of what they are? Let me get my book. All right, you go ahead and get your book.
We'll be here.
But there is a question mark on, is this a legitimate representation of that culture, or did Wes Craven just say make him look like a witch doctor?
My next note was a Dumbledore, give me the power, I beg of you.
What the
Yeah.
Power of what?
It's what Chucky says.
The power of voodoo?
What voodoo? Yeah.
This is why I love
Right.
working with you, man.
I know the movie about David Bowie's crotch.
Wasn't all about his crotch. Anyway. My next note is actually also towards the beginning of the film. It's Alfred.
Oh yeah.
So a year
Alfred's
after
in the
this,
movie.
a year after this movie, one of the other characters that we see early on is a mentor, former professor of Dennis, played by Bill Pullman, would go on to play Alfred in the 1989 Batman flick, and he still sounds and looks like the character, and he's also an amazing character actor. But that voice is just so synonymous with the Alfred character that it's impossible to miss. So it was really cool to see him in another role, doing something different and taking on a completely new project. Why are you making that face?
It's not as elaborate as the one in the movie, but it's real.
The what? Wait, what?
The medicine man thing.
Oh,
The
okay.
shaman.
Okay.
Yeah.
She
They
says
do
the
get
picture
pretty
in my
elaborate.
Moisten Loin says picture in my book shows a man with painted body. I can send third a picture on Twitter. Oh, okay. Is that what you just saw?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
all
send
right.
it to you later.
Cool. Thanks for that, Moisten Loin. Really appreciate your help.
Thanks for the interaction.
Yeah, and the info. What's your next one there, bud?
Oh, we didn't even mention the helicopter pilot dies.
Mysteriously too. Like
Yeah.
we never actually see it happen. We just see him. We see Dennis arrive back at the chopper, and
Chopper.
opens the door, and there's like maggots crawling out of his nose and his mouth. I think
Oh,
there's
they're,
one crawling out
they're-
of his ear.
They're bot worms, aren't they?
Botfly larvae. So they're technically still maggots, but yeah, it's a different type
Yeah.
of animal altogether. Yeah, they're straight up trying to like burrow and
But
reproduce
like
in his skin.
that's the like Amazon bug that you don't want to fuck with is like
Ever.
botfly larva. Yeah.
Botfly larvae and leeches. Well, I guess that's not
Funny how you
technically a
learned about
bug.
it today. Yeah.
Now we're talking about it, right? It's just all
job.
kind of lined up. I fucking love it.
Hell yeah.
All right, yeah. What's your next note?
Oh, well, it's not my next note, but I actually thinking about it right now, it's about the Alfred talks about like the soul and stuff like that, and then Bill
Mhm.
Pullman's like, where does the soul start and end?
Oh,
In your
right,
head.
in the brain, because we're scientists. Well, I feel like that was an important distinction to make because he is having to approach this from a very like sound mind, like a sound point of view, and
Yeah.
like the other guy actually early on, there's another gentleman in this scene who runs this company, Boston Biocore, who is actually sending him out to Haiti to try and research this stuff so they can use it as a possible anesthesia or something like that. Really weird goals surrounding this whole trip.
Yeah, the premise of Bill Pullman's character Dennis going out to Haiti is to get whatever they say that it's some kind of powder absorbed through the skin that's making the people paralyzed
Mhm.
essentially. And I want to call him Alfred, but
Every
I
time,
shouldn't.
right?
Alfred's like, he's like just talks about how spiritual it is, and Bill Pullman and the leader of Biocorp, they dismiss it completely. They're like, no,
Right.
scientific.
Yeah.
Science.
Yeah, I don't deal in magic. I deal in science, I believe is one of his lines. So yeah, I mean, and then you hear this other guy talking about the soul, and he's like, well, do you believe this stuff? He's like, well, they sure do. And I feel like that's an important distinction to make too, because it doesn't really matter what he believes. There's a whole country out there that believes in this stuff. So he needs to be a little more open-minded, I think, is what he's trying to convey to him.
Spoiler, Bill Pullman finds out later that his scientific analytical mind actually protects him from like some stuff. Bill Pullman is talking about like the things that he's gone up against, and this guy's like, yeah, but your mind has protected you from what you don't know, or
Right.
from what you don't know you miss. You know, like Jesus. Like
Yeah.
when he said that, I was like, what else is there? Tell me.
I need answers.
Why is voodoo so scary?
All right, just don't walk across my keyboard. That would be really bad. Please don't. Okay. Actually, talking about that scene, my next note is just go and get it, he says. Like, he basically just tells him, he's like, it's out there waiting for us. We just have to go and get it. Like, he makes it sound so fucking easy.
Just drive to Haiti and get it.
I mean, you know there's so much more involved in it than just going and getting it. Like, I feel like he's channeling Ray from the Ghostbusters and just get her.
That's what money hungry people do though.
Well, yeah, I mean, he sees an obvious like a chance to cash in on whatever this thing is. I think his perspective is no one else has discovered this thing except for the people that use it. They're using it in
Except for the people who discovered it.
and they're using it the wrong way, and we need to go and get it so that we can educate the world on how, like, typical Americanizing of other cultures, I think.
Oh, we are colonizers. Shit, it's an anti-American movie. We're Bernie Bros now.
Brah.
Oh man, we're getting political now.
Well, we can easily circumvent that. Go ahead with your next next little tidbit.
Oh, Haiti is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the 80s.
And then, needle in the eye.
Oh.
Oh God!
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was showing, there was a scene where they're at like like it was a party or like a dance. There was some kind of outside event happening, and they were letting these tourists come up to these people and just like shove needles into their face.
Oh no, I'm talking about when Christoph, the zombie
that
guy.
one.
Yeah, when he so the character Christoph gets examined and presumed dead, and in Haiti they would put a needle. They put a needle right here under the eye. After they would put they check your pulse, listen with a stethoscope, put it up to your nose to listen for breathing, check for steam, or check for whatever. And then they stick a fucking needle in your eye. Ah.
Basically just to make sure you're actually dead.
But we know he was alive, bro. We know.
So totally non-spoiler, the character that he's talking about, after they do all that shit, they lay him in the casket, they start burying him, and it's just one of the most heart-wrenching things out of the entire film. You actually see a single tear start to fall down his head as you hear the dirt hitting the top of the casket.
Bro, the caskets have the glass.
Yeah,
They have the glass cross. Oh, it's so bad.
It's pretty gruesome. Like, and not even like in a gory, like twisted kind of way. It's just really rough to see someone getting buried the fuck alive. And they're aware of it. They're completely aware of everything that's happening to them. There's just zero. There's nothing they can do about it. Absolutely not a goddamn thing they can do whatever about. It's some frightening shit. So going into my next one, shortly after that, we see him coming back to his hotel room. Like, he's already in Haiti. He's starting to do research. The government, right off the cuff, as soon as we enter Haiti into the movie, we notice there is some hardcore corruption going on within the local government. There's a so-called secret police that's operating through town, doing all kinds of questionable shit. He comes back into his hotel room, and there's like blood drawings all over his room.
There's a pig.
A pig on the wall. And then out of nowhere, you see a silhouette of a dude holding a machete, and he just busts the fuck out of there. I'm almost wondering, was that an attempt to scare him away from him discovering the truth? Or were they
Bill
legit?
Pullman, professional fucking free runner.
Hey, he did pretty good.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
He probably couldn't do anything like that nowadays, but he did pretty good.
He jumps to a balcony,
Mm-hmm.
and then he jumps down onto some scaffolding. Jumps down, and by the way, this is Haiti scaffolding, so it's like sticks and like wooden dirt, like
Clay, yeah, whatever they can make.
like it's not OSHA.
It does
I
not
can
mean
tell you that
OSHA
right.
regulated.
he jumps down and then jumps to the road, and you're like, wow, he's pretty fit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, anthropologist. He's traveling all around the world. It's not completely out of the question. You know, Indiana Jones did a bunch of wild shit.
Yeah. Oh, he's horror movie Indiana Jones.
Should have gave him a whip.
Police curse are just trying to scare him away. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost
They
seemed
call him
like
Blanc too.
Blanc.
Or, Blanc.
Blanc,
Blanc.
which Blanco is Spanish for white. I believe Blanc is French for white. And there seems to be a very heavy French presence in that country during this time.
Haiti speaks an augmented version of French.
Okay, so that makes sense.
It starts with a C. Creole.
Creole. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Haitian Creole.
I did not know that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, the Voodoo Cowboy is a really cool character. He kind of helps Dennis along the way when trying to retrieve this powder, and like he actually tries to scam him when he first meets him, like out of about I think like $500.
Oh man, yeah. Bill Pullman's like he's way too smart.
He's quick, man. Like there's some, like he's pulled some Batman style shit in this movie.
It's because he's got Alfred.
He's got Alfred. See, it all lines up.
Yeah.
Comes full circle. I'm telling you. What's another one you got?
Oh, what if the bottle, or what if he had a different bottle?
Wait, which bottle?
Because he, the first bottle that has the powder.
Oh.
What if he had a different bottle? Completely like destroy. Okay, so Bill Pullman, Dennis. I'm just gonna keep calling him Dennis.
All right.
Dennis, the main character, Dennis pulls a quick one, I guess, on the Voodoo Cowboy.
The old switcheroo.
Yeah, the Voodoo Cowboy gives him a vial of powder, and Dennis switches the vial and pours it into his drink, and he's like, "Here's what I think of your powder," and he drinks it and walks away like a hard ass. And the girl he's with, whose name I can't think of, the researcher he's with, she's like, "What if that was poison?" And he's like, "Well, I think it was actually rat poison."
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it probably was. Yeah, who knows? That's actually one of my later notes. Major badass moment when he slams the powder.
Yeah.
Because he does. He pours it into like a beer or like some, because they're at a bar. And he pours it into like his drink. And I mean, just one single shot, just bam, slams it down. Like a hard ass. Like just fucking like a straight middle finger to the, I got you, bitch.
Just for context, though, Dennis gets taken to the Voodoo Cowboy because he knows how to make the powder. And
Right.
Voodoo Cowboy tries to pull a slick one on him, and he gives the powder to a baby goat.
Right.
And he says he asked for the money because he asked for $500.
Mm-hmm.
He originally asked for like $1,000.
He tried. Yeah, he did try.
Yeah, and they haggle down to $500. He gives the powder to a baby goat, and you have to come back 24 hours for the whole process to be finished. He comes back 24 hours later, and I didn't actually realize this until my most recent watch through. He figures out that it's fake because he looks at the goat's hoof.
So before that, when Voodoo Cowboy initially gives the goat the powder and it passes out or it goes zombified or whatever, there's a real quick scene, and I feel like if you blink, you miss it, where Bill Pullman's Dennis pulls out a pocket knife and he scratches a little nick into the goat's hoof. So that the following day, when he looks at the hoof again, he realizes, oh, motherfucker tried to switch the goats on me. All right. Then we lead into the powder slamming thing. This is such a crazy story. It's so good, though.
You're just so involved the whole time. There's no dull moments.
There's not. Like, you're sucked in. Like, you're almost as invested in this case as an investigator as he is at some points. Because you're just like, on the edge, just waiting for the next thing to drop or waiting for the next piece of information to come around. It's like, it's great storytelling.
I just feel like we're doing such little justice to the story. I think throughout the whole review, we're just gonna say watch the movie.
Well, I mean, that's going to end. Well, I mean, yeah, spoiler alert. That's going to be our main consensus is that you should absolutely go watch this movie. But we're going to spend about an hour here telling you why.
Yeah. Yeah. Spoiler. Watch the movie. So good. $4 on Amazon. Go do it.
Go do it. It's actually
subscribe for me and no, don't do that. But
unsubscribe, then resubscribe, and we'll do another cosplay.
shit.
But it's actually $4 across the board. You can find it on YouTube, VooDoo, Amazon Prime, and I think like one other one. They're all across the board. They're all $4.
Yeah. It's like $15 to own, but I'm weird about owning digital media.
Digital, yeah. I feel like for something like this that's as historic, and I hate using that word, but it's been how many years now? So owning a physical copy of this one should definitely be in your collection.
There's a Blu-ray out.
Bitch, I'm fucking getting that shit soon. I'm not even kidding. Pull the SETI on you. Bitch! All right, I'm taking his content now. I'm sorry.
Damn it.
Damn it.
Yeah, definitely. So worth a watch. What's your next note?
My next one is Long Hike Shalong, Must Sleep in Jungle.
Bro, he hiked 200 miles to get out of the first situation.
Right. And now he's going into one.
Yeah.
Like the situation is completely switched. So for context for our listeners, there's a scene where, okay, so in many parts of voodoo, even like closely related to Santeria, they're all also closely related to Catholicism. And they actually elaborate on that a little bit in the movie, how there's similarities between the various religions. So it's essentially a march. There's like around 100, maybe 200 people that are walking single file. They're all holding, or like there's a small group that's holding a giant statue of the Virgin Mary, who they consider a very close similarity to another deity involved in their culture. I'm butchering their entire fucking belief system, but I'm doing the best I can.
Well, we don't practice Santeria.
Right.
We don't have any crystal balls.
I'm doing the best I can here. So they're all following the statue of essentially it's the Virgin Mary, and they're walking through the jungle. There's like 200 of these people, and the entire march basically leads up to them all sleeping on the floor, on the ground in this open area of the jungle. No tents, no sleeping bags, none of that shit. Like they are communing with fucking nature at this point. Like they're laying full on the grass.
Mosquitoes. There's just Haiti is like miniature Australia.
Everything wants to kill you.
Yeah, something around you wants you dead.
Yeah.
At all times.
Scorpions, other various types of insects.
Next.
Fucking snacks. Long snacks, which is actually in the next scene. And I actually have a note on that too. I think it's early, or did I leave that out? I think I may have accidentally left that out. But he ends up having a dream in this particular scene. And it almost feels like his dreams, as he gets deeper and deeper into this case, start getting progressively worse to the point of like hallucinations. Like he's still on that ayahuasca trip almost.
Yeah. That's actually my next notice. Is what was in her mouth?
Bro.
Oh man. So they sleep they camp out, they're sleeping in the dirt. Bill Pullman, Dennis, God bless it. Bill Pullman, whatever, has a dream where he's awoken by a snake crawling over the female researcher with him. And he gets up and he's very scared, but he sees Christoph, the first zombie that brought him to Haiti. And the corpse, Christoph is holding, like, almost like a baby, this corpse in a wedding dress. And she slowly makes her way to Bill Pullman, and he's just like Like she's reaching out like a zombie.
And the sounds,
Oh god.
the sounds. Ah,
And the whole thing's
I will hear them forever.
She almost sounds like a baby.
Like a baby that's being. Ugh, this is going to really disturb some people, and I apologize, but she sounds like a baby being strangled.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the most disturbing auditory experiences I had. We spoke briefly on audio, I believe in episode 4, when we were talking about Saw with dead memes, and how there's certain scenes where they skip the gore, but they invested very heavily into audio. Like you can actually hear the saw going through his foot and all that kind of shit. That right there is another example. I think, what did you say that the term's ADR?
Oh, yeah, ADR, the when you use like when you go in to add additional audio or create better audio.
Yeah, so the ADR for that particular scene was fucking amazing and horrifying. Like I would love to try and attempt to make that sound, but I feel like I would absolutely destroy what's left of my voice if I try and do that. It's really disturbing.
It's just very juvenile and it's distressed. And that's like enough to really get me going, I feel like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, dude. And that actually is also my next note. Zombie bride scene, super creepy, but the lighting was fucking gorgeous. Like,
yes,
behind them, while this whole thing's going on, she's all. There's all these candles surrounding this huge, like, fucking. It looked like kind of a birch tree, but I could be wrong. I don't know what the local flora is like in Haiti, but it's giant, like a wide, super wide fucking tree trunk, and it's completely surrounded by candles. Lighting anything with low light, like practically dark, super hard to pull off. This was so good looking, despite what's actually happening in the scene. If you can remove like that part of the screen from your vision and just kind of focus around like the aura that's going on behind them, it's actually kind of beautifully done.
the cinematography in this movie, it's so on point.
Very much. Oh yeah.
Mm.
Some of the best so far that we've covered on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, when she she rubs her mouth and
I mean, down like her fucking chest, dude. And then a
they
giant.
do all these great effects, and it like you're so close to getting campy. You're just, like when the roller coaster is about to go,
Yeah.
you're just right there with it being campy, and then Wes Craven's like, I ain't no bitch, and he brings it back to like suspenseful, and he roots it back in realism.
Yeah. 100%. It's actually one of my later notes. Damn, I must have left that one off too. I tried not to include everything I wrote down just for time reasons, because there was a lot. Like there was,
Yeah.
I had a lot.
I love one of your notes because it's so close to mine.
Oh yeah. Well, shit, I can't even remember what the thought was now, so I'm just gonna move on. The Voodoo Cathedral that they mentioned has some real pagan qualities to it, and how it's connected with nature, and it's all surrounded in this very natural environment. What we're talking about is shortly after the whole commute, the whole march with the Virgin Mary and all that, they end up at this really gigantic, beautiful waterfall that everyone just kind of starts bathing in almost. And again, the ceremonial trope continues here. But his partner, the other scientist that's traveling with him, she makes a mention how this is like a voodoo cathedral, and similar to like a Catholic cathedral. This is where they practice. This is a very spiritual place that they are able to get closer to their religious deity. I forget if they actually use the term God or not in that scenario.
They mentioned God
Quite a bit, yeah.
Our God is in our flesh.
Right. Yeah. So
Exactly the line she uses at one point.
that's correct. Yeah. And so, yeah, it had a very pagan feel to it and how it's connected with nature and all that kind of shit. But I liked it. I think that scene is also very beautifully done. And surprisingly, the chemistry between those two characters is like very, very on point in that scene. And I feel like throughout the movie too.
It doesn't like. So I'm just gonna be real with you. Their connection is probably one of my least favorite parts about it because it's just like it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like at one point he's like, I don't believe you. You're making all this up and I understand why. And then like 10 minutes later he's like, you know,
Yeah. Well, you know,
but
that's
I almost wonder if that's like maybe that's a voodoo thing.
you
She
know,
does that voodoo dance on him, bro. She does that she's possessed and she does that dance.
yeah,
She does a possessed dance on him. So maybe I'll give it to that.
could be. I don't know. And maybe there's something in the water.
Oh yeah, healing water.
Is that the note you were talking about? You want to read it?
These waters are healing. My note is bottle the water and sell it for $9.99.
Hey, for real.
So they go to the waterfall and everyone's going in, and there's like this very strange, it's like a religious experience for the two of them.
Yeah, that sounds accurate. That sounds accurate. Yeah, actually, you're right. It's very similar.
Is that the one where they do it?
Yeah, because actually my note is these waters are healing is apparently code for let's fuck in a cave. Because it's not like a minute after that, we're in a gratuitous sex scene of them in a cave.
Gratuitous sex scene. Gorgeous.
Excellent wordplay.
Right? Oh, man. Yeah, it's just a very, like, almost religious sex scene.
It is. And actually my secondary note within that same one, could it have been possession or possibly that she was inebriated under the influence of some drug or something like that? Because in the first scene where you were talking about where she does the voodoo dance thing on him, she gets supposedly possessed, but we see the guy spit like some fluid in her face, and then later on she's all like, nah.
Yeah.
Heavily under suggestion.
Just so we're clear, when something spit in your face in this movie, you're fucked.
Ow, 100%.
You're done.
You're done.
Oh my God.
Your character is done for. You have completed your obligation in the film.
You're done. Goodbye.
And that's kind of the delivery method we see throughout the movie is them like, because there's one part where we see a guy actually put on, like he's aware, he's cognizant of what this shit does. And yep, the latex glove scene, and he's got a fat fucking pile of it in his hand. And just whoosh, like all up in someone's face, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Tell me there isn't a guy who goes to do that though, but inhales first.
Okay. And he got dangerously close, man. He almost got like a full hit of that shit. Like, I'm surprised he didn't do just a straight bump when he pulled that shit off.
So the powder they use to paralyze you.
Mm-hmm.
Delta says what? The powder they use to paralyze you, they literally administer it. It's through skin contact, like it goes in through your pores.
Mm-hmm.
And I will let you guys know it's actually tetrodotoxin, and it's a sodium channel blocker. It inhibits the firing of action potentials in neurons by binding the voltage-gated sodium channels in nerve cell membranes and blocking the passage of sodium ions. Don't know what any of that meant.
But it's terrifying shit.
That's what Google said. So, they administer by literally blowing it into your face. Like the guy comes up with a big old thing of it in a gloved hand, and he's just like,
Mm-hmm. So
then
then,
you're done.
then it's not only skin contact. Then it's getting into the fluid of your eyes. It's going into your nasal passages. It's going into your fucking mouth. You have no recourse of fighting this shit. Like he said, as soon as something gets blown in your face, you're fucked.
You're done. So that's later on. We'll get to,
that's later on.
We'll get to that.
Do you want to get to your next one since we covered the cave fucking?
No, you can do your next one.
Okay. I feel like there was a very brief moment of suspended belief. The first, when like towards the middle of the film, he actually leaves Haiti briefly to go back to the States, and he's having like a little conversation with Mr. Voodoo Cowboy before he leaves. I think this is actually at the point where he has a sample of the zombie powder, and he's taking it back to Boston to go study it and do experiments and all that kind of shit.
Can we talk about how he makes it?
Yeah, let me get through this though, because it's super quick.
Yeah.
Super quick.
Yeah.
As they're ending their conversation, the plane then detaches from the little air dock. The door is still open. On the fucking plane. Where's the pressure going? There are some serious FAA rules being violated here.
Is that the hill you want to die on?
It just seemed like such an oversight to me. I had to write it down. Like, I get why they did it for that moment, for that scene. But any plane that pulls away from, I mean, like, come on, they close the door every fucking time. Put a window in there. He can wave through the window. Bye-bye.
God damn it.
I know. I was nitpicking, but it seemed just really off to me. Like, the door's open on the fucking... Anyway. So, yeah, let's talk about how...
It says suspended belief when the plane...
Yeah! For me, I don't know if anyone else feels that way, I guess. Fucking... Maybe I went a little too far. But yeah, let's talk about how you actually makes this shit, because it's pretty fascinating.
Bill Pullman is invited to make the powder.
Not even invited, he's like required.
And then we gotta talk about the scene. The scene with the chair, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Bill Pullman is invited to make the zombie powder. Oh. Is he invited before or after the chair? Does he go before or after the chair?
It's before. Yeah, because he sees the chair comes around when he comes back to Haiti.
Yeah, okay. You're right. My man. So, they literally grave rob. I mean, but like, well, grave rob would suggest that you're just stealing things off a body. They take the whole fucking casket from the body. They take the whole casket.
The whole ass casket.
The whole ass casket. Bill Pullman's like, how do I know this isn't a kid? They pull a board off the casket. He looks in, and it's the corpse from his dream.
Mm-hmm. Synergy.
Yeah. Oh. God. Okay. So they have to make the powder basically from the body.
Essentially, yeah. Like it almost kind of seems like they use the body as the pot, as the brew pot to make this shit in. It's fucking wild.
It's less about the actual chemical combination and more about the ritual, obviously, because it's a voodoo practice.
For sure.
But they're still pretty exact in the way that they make it. So, do you want to describe what they do?
So, there are several ingredients that are included in this. One is a puffer fish, which has been suspended in its bloated state. that they then put on an open fire, essentially just flat out roasting this fish. They then, like there's a scene where they actually like crush the human skull from this body that they dug up. So the bone powder is also used. Poison from the pufferfish. There was another toxic sea animal that they used. I can't fucking remember what it was.
I know that the tetrodotoxin, the active ingredient, is from the pufferfish.
Right. And then there's like a couple, like they use, it's, if you think about it, it's full organic.
It's not vegan.
It's not vegan. A lot of animal parts being used right now.
Holy shit.
So pufferfish, human skull, bone powdered, and there's like a couple of other like actual creatures, venomous creatures that are used to concoct this thing. And then there's a ritual performed. But the thing that really got me was when he's just sitting there going, just do it, just push, the bones are brittle, they'll give. He's just like,
yeah, he fucking takes a screwdriver and he cracks the skull, and then he tells Bill Pullman, just squeeze, the bones are brittle, and Bill Pullman's like,
crunch.
it's like when you can't open a can of Coke, and you're just like, you're scared you're gonna like do it wrong or like jam your whole thumb.
It's like when the tab breaks off and then you have to jam it with a fucking knife to open it up.
Yeah. Oh, it's rough.
It's rough, man. Like
And it looks so real.
they did like their effects department for this movie was fucking amazing. Like there's nothing digital about any of you got to remember this movie came out in 1988. There's nothing digital about the special effects in this film. It's all done on set.
Practical effects, 9 out of 10.
Oh, for sure. Hands down.
There's one practical effect that we'll probably talk about later that I was just like, are you sure?
Right. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. So I don't know if this is real. Okay, let's talk about the chair real quick because it's before my next note.
So, I'm trying to think of the timeline. So Bill, it happens when he comes back, right?
Right. So after this whole scenario takes place of him making the powder, which by the way, their safety gear consists of a bandana around the face and a burlap sack suit. That's their PPE. When
Damn it.
So yeah, he makes it. He runs into issue with the, I forget who it was now, but after all that takes place, he has the powder in hand, waves bye-bye to Voodoo Cowboy through the fucking irresponsibly open aircraft door, goes back to Boston, studies, discovers the effects, and then, before any of that happens, they have a dinner.
This is where you start to figure out there's like some supernatural, like some real supernatural.
Like some shit followed him or came with him.
So I don't want to go into the details of that because I feel like we're kind of jumping into spoiler territory.
Fair enough.
Like there's some stuff that I want to leave open so that if any of you do decide to watch the movie, you still have a lot to experience. Like we're talking about a lot of the stuff that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I feel like because obviously he has to get the zombie mixture,
Right, because then where else did the story go?
Yeah. So some crazy shit happens at a dinner party. We'll maybe leave it there.
Yeah, I think that's a nice little cliffhanger explanation to entice you to go see the film for yourself.
White bitches be crazy.
White bitches be fucking crazy. Especially, like, pharmaceutical white bitches, because they're all money.
Yeah. Bill Pullman comes back because he's concerned about the female researcher he was working with because he doesn't hear from her.
Yeah,
he gets a warning to leave, by the way, and he's told like if you ever come back, like we're gonna get you.
The warning he got was fucking brutal. That's why I put that question in your chat when I first came into your stream tonight.
Bro, it's so bad. So he gets a warning not to come back. The secret police tell him, like he brings him into like, it's clearly a torture room. This is a torture room.
100%. They make no secret of it.
Police dictator. This is a torture room.
Yeah.
He starts. He turns the gas on to a blowtorch.
Yeah.
And is like gassing, like just throwing gas around Bill Pullman's face. And he's like, "You have a pretty face. Do you like your face?" And he sparks.
Mm-hmm.
He like hits the igniter a couple times around his face too, and like it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Pullman's like, "Yes, I like my face." He's like, "I do too.
I like it
believe
too." And then he lights a cigar with the acetylene torch. That cigar had to be the worst tasting cigar in the world.
But it tasted like victory.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, so what state is Mr. Bill Pullman in when he's sitting in this chair?
Oh, he's butt ass naked. Bro, he is vulnerable. He is tied to a chair.
Naked.
It looks like an electric chair almost.
Yeah, like they just removed all of like the
components.
the bindings and the other like the helmet, the other components and shit. Yeah, but it does
They used leather straps to tie him down.
ankles, wrists, and head.
Butt, neck, and head.
Yeah,
By the
that's
way.
right. Neck and head. Like he's completely immobile.
Yeah. So, secret police guy says, or Bill Pullman's like trying to bribe his way out. He's like, we have money, we have power, we're trying to do good. Like, what do you want? What will it take to get me out of here? You've made your message clear. I'm out tomorrow on the next plane. What do you want? And what is arguably the most metal line in the whole movie? What do you want? I want to hear you scream. Oh my God.
What do
Bill
you
Pullman.
What do you
Right.
do when someone says that to you? What the fuck do you do?
Scream. You fucking scream.
You scream your fucking head off.
Well, Bill Pullman gives him like a couple wussy screams. And then he lets him know. He's like, not good enough.
Not good enough.
Ooh, it's like a railroad spike almost. Like it's just, like it's a wooden rafter nail. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He drives. Listen. Shut up. Listen. He drives a wooden rafter nail through Bill Pullman's penis. And he screams.
Yeah, there's a scream for you. He gave him a full-on Prince Albert that he never asked for.
How does he pee?
Like
How do you
this.
pee after that? Well, 3.
So it makes like a T.
Yeah.
Comes out the sides.
Yeah. It's a holy piss. Oh my God, he has to sit down to pee for the rest of his life. There's no fucking way, dude.
He's not fucking in any more caves after that.
Nope.
That's so fucking bad.
Oh man.
That's
That's
easily
like
the cringiest scene in the entire movie. Like that's the
The
one.
first time you watch it, it's just it's so rough.
Oh, fuck.
So rough.
We need to get off of this, otherwise we're just gonna keep cringing in pain.
We're just gonna talk about driving a fucking nail through your dick for the next 20 minutes.
Well, answer outside of the chat here. Would you take a nail to the scrotum for $1 million?
$1 million. Oh,
Half, 500K.
500K.
Let's work up.
No.
Would you accept 500K at first?
No.
Okay, so bump up to $1 million.
Oh man, I would need money for reconstructive surgery.
I mean, it's one hole. You have to do it once. Probably just a set of stitches.
In and out. 2 holes.
Wouldn't it be the same hole?
Are we arguing the semantics of the hole? No, we're stuck.
Just the architecture, really.
We're stuck. Okay.
So my next one, I'm gonna leave off the descriptor because I feel like that makes it a spoiler-worthy line. But a character towards the end of the film, after Bill Pullman returns to Haiti, like he gets in a brief fist fight with him, a little altercation. This person is being controlled by our antagonist, who ends up being our antagonist of the movie. You are a nightmare. You know that? You're a nightmare, but I love you. They get into a fist fight briefly. He's still under mind control from our antagonist for the film. And the ending of the fight is basically the other character ripping off his own head, like, and then there's like steam coming out of the hole. I think like, wow, it's just such a good scene.
It's the only practical effect in the movie where I was like, really?
Yeah, like it was definitely far-fetched, but I feel like it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed
It's
to.
another one of those instances of where like you're so close to being campy.
Right. Yeah. Like they were trying to illustrate just the level of mind control that he ends up getting over these people after performing these rituals and stuff. Like, I have so much control over you, your thoughts, and your actions. I will make you rip off your own head.
Yeah. We're actually leaving out a ton, by the way. So there's no spoilers to the end of the movie.
No. There's still plenty of movie left to discover.
We really can't talk about the end.
No.
Too much. Like,
no, we can't. I think this is like about as close to the end as we can get almost.
Yeah. I honestly can't even go through like. Yeah. Bill Pullman comes back and before Bill comes back, he's warned. He's like, you're not ready.
Yeah.
You are not ready.
And there's, what's up, Acid? How you doing? Thanks for coming in. We're talking about The Serpent and the Rainbow, 1988 Wes Craven classic. Underappreciated. Hidden gem, for sure. My final note is actually just about the movie in general in itself. The way they blur the lines of mysticism and reality really made this movie an experience. Not just a good movie to watch, but it made it a full-on experience to see this film. I can only imagine what it was like seeing this in theaters.
It had to be amazing.
Right? Especially for the time. Like, the way the technology was back then, how it was all basically matched up with each other graphically and camera tech and all that kind of stuff. You're killing me.
The scene where Bill Pullman gets the powder in his face and it's fish-eyed and oh my god, it's
the wandering and like how he's going down the streets. Everyone's trying to avoid him too because they think he's possessed now.
Well, because they don't want to touch him because he's got the powder.
Yeah, because you even see that one guy go like, nope, stay the fuck away from me. Get the fuck off of me. Like
rip his shirt off. I don't care.
Rip his shirt off. Yep, I don't care. Just get away. You want nothing to do with this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the way that they were able to do that, especially when you get into the later hours of the movie, they completely blur the lines between reality, mysticism, religion, spirituality. All of these things start to come into play and become major players in the movie. They almost become their own characters in a way.
Like, how much of this is Bill Pullman's character in an ayahuasca trip,
right,
versus how much is really happening?
That's a great question. Ooh, that kind of adds like another dynamic to it all. Like, how much of it did he really experience, you know?
Yeah. Oh my god, It's so like I really don't want to gush. I really don't, but like I want people to see this movie. I want a new generation of people to like truly appreciate one of Wes Craven's most underrated movies.
For sure. 100% agree with you. And like I said, I had zero expectations when I first watched it. The very first time I watched this movie was earlier this evening. Like I'm coming into it fresh eyes, fresh mind, everything. Like I had nothing to judge this movie against. So when I came in, I was just like, all right, what am I in for? And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready at all. And I'm so glad I wasn't, because I feel like the way to watch this movie is going in with an open mind and just go in realizing that how many bad movies has Wes Craven really made? Like none? Maybe, I don't know.
Well, he wasn't involved in like the later Nightmare movies.
No, and I have heard of, like, I say heard, but I've mostly read it on the internet where people do kind of talk down on New Nightmare a little bit.
New Nightmare.
Right? I mean,
I like it.
there's still fans out there of it, and but everyone has their own opinions. Is he perfect? Of course not. He's a human being. I'm sure he's made mistakes along the way. We all have. Love the New Nightmare. See, there you go. Acid agrees with you.
Yeah.
But I mean, arguably within this genre of filmmaking, no one's really been able to touch him.
God, he's one of the greats. I miss him. I miss you.
We'll have to do a special Wes Craven episode, like on his anniversary or on his birthday or something.
Let's do
like
a
that.
Wes Craven month.
Wes Craven month. I'm down. There's more than enough movies.
Yes, there is.
Way more than enough movies. But I agree with you 100%. Definitely underrated, underappreciated. I feel like this is a movie that we should still, like we are now, but I feel like more people should still be talking about this film. And I would love to see another generation of movie fans experience the original film before anyone attempts a remake, if they do.
It's coming. It has to be coming.
At some point.
We're on the tail end of a lot of like religious, supernatural movies.
Mhm.
So like, it's got to be coming.
Like someone out there has to have had the idea already.
Please let it be Blumhouse. Please.
That would be good. That'd be cool.
Let Blumhouse do this, please.
Yeah, I would love to see someone other than like Dimension or even Twisted do something with this, because I feel like they would try and inject too much gore into it.
Yeah.
And it's just not needed for this film. It's not necessary at all. The few like little increments of quote gore that we get in this movie is very like subtle and it's well done.
It way more left to the imagination, and I feel like it's better that way.
Oh, for sure, because it's really cool. The scene that we were talking about, where they're making the powder and he's got the body and he's crushing the skull and stuff. Like for half a second, you actually see him squeeze it. And like you actually see part of it kind of like squeeze in a little bit, like, oh, okay, there is a little bit of pliability here. It's still kind of fleshy. So I mean, like they're like really quick glances, but I mean, like, what more do you need? Because that's not the center of the movie. That's not what's driving the story here. It's not the blood and guts. It's the cerebral trip that all these characters get put on and essentially are fighting a battle within their own mind, which, a la Wes Craven, who better to do something like that than him?
Go watch this movie.
Go watch it. Go do it.
$4 on every platform. Go watch it.
Yeah,
You have no excuse.
it's $4. And if you really feel like you have to do it, it's out there. I'm sure someone has posted it online somewhere. You can rip it.
I'm sure it's on Cody.
Sure, it's on Cody. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Rip XBMC. So I loved XBMC when it was still around. Loved that shit.
Oh, my Xbox 360.
Shit, Xbox original. I would say Xbox One. That means totally different now.
Yeah.
Fucking Fucking Microsoft.
Good job, Microsoft. GG.
Oh, give us your final note, your final word on this film, man, homie.
Okay, so you're talking about this movie is on the tail end of classic 80s horror. It has spectacular practical effects, great storytelling, great acting too. It blurs the line between reality, mysticism, God, spirituality, like
Politics.
yeah, political, because Haiti was under a dictatorship at the time. I'm not sure if they still are, but
Well, I think this was right around the time of their like revolution or something like that.
yeah, that actually happens in the movie.
Yeah, we're not going to say when or where or how, but they do touch
So-
on it a little bit.
Probably I'll use this word again. Easily the antithesis of grounded. I mean grounded. Of great 80s horror.
Yeah, I agree.
Great non-campy 80s horror.
There you go.
Yeah.
Way more accurate. Way more accurate. This definitely felt like more of a, and this may sound a little pessimistic, maybe even a little arrogant, but this seemed like it was a much more mature, more intelligent film for that decade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like-
I can see where it led into the 90s.
Yeah. Good point.
Like suspense, you know?
Yeah. He was this almost feels like it was a groundbreaking kind of thing, now that you mention it that way, because yeah, we did see more similar films of that nature coming into the early 90s and shit. Anyway, fucking dogs.
Go watch this movie.
Go watch this movie. And then come back and talk to us about it. I
Hit
would
us up
love
on Twitter.
I would love, yeah, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Instagram. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie. If you do go decide to see it, motherfucker, I can't talk tonight. If you do go decide to watch this movie, come and talk to us about it on social media.
If you are good if you are watching a movie good. Okay. Are you ready to move on?
I am ready to move on.
Okay. We're gonna go back. This is our first recurring segment. Recurring.
Culture.
We're bringing it back. We're gonna go into deathmatch again.
Deathmatch! That was so much fun the first time around too.
This is definitely. I think this is your favorite segment.
I think so, because like everyone was able to just kind of chime in all kinds of different ideas and shit. It was just a really cool time. So I'm glad to bring it back.
So for those of you who don't know, deathmatch is where we verse horror movie characters, villains, protagonists, antagonists. We talked, last time we talked about Jason versus everyone. We talked about
Frankenstein, werewolves versus 28 weeks later zombies. We got into some really wacky
yeah.
shit, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, any character you can think of from any horror movie, thriller, suspense, zombie, gore, torture porn, what have you. Pick a character, and then we versus them with another character, and just imagine what would that fight be like. And it's a lot of fun to think about. So for this one, and I think you kind of enjoyed it. I think you actually read it earlier tonight, and it was like, ooh, okay. Religious figures versus supernatural or paranormal entities.
I want to. Okay, tell me what you got.
Okay, so the first one that came to my mind was the Pope versus the ghost from Poltergeist.
Well, it's not. So okay,
Or the spirit, the haunting in
yeah,
Poltergeist.
the energy. Of,
Yes,
of Poltergeist.
much better wording. Thank you.
Are we talking about like the real life Pope?
Well,
We talking about like a movie version of the Pope?
whoever happens to be holding the position at the time.
Oh man.
Fuck it, let's make it more interesting. Yeah, let's say it's a movie pope, and he actually has like some knowledge of the supernatural.
I mean, because the Pope makes decisions about like exorcisms and stuff like that, and like the cleansing of spiritual entities.
Yeah,
Oh man.
but the spiritual entity in Poltergeist was significantly powerful.
Yeah. Well, because it was like the whole spoilers. Native American, Native American burial grounds. Dude, that movie's so intense.
We've
And
all
I'm
seen
talking
this. We've all seen the Simpsons parody. We know what it's about.
The original Poltergeist. So much better, by the way.
Yeah.
So intense when the pool scene, bruh.
Mm.
Oh,
Putting it on the list.
yes. I'm probably gonna give it to the Poltergeist.
Ooh. I had a feeling you would, but tell me why.
So the Pope makes decisions about exorcisms and stuff like that, but I've never seen reference of the Pope actually doing an exorcism or banishing, spirits.
Right. Like there's no practicality there. It's just more
Yeah.
blind decision making, right? Like blind rule.
So maybe I'll give it to the Pope if like the new Pope is some like gritty exorcist, like he's seen some shit and he just got the promotion. He's 3 days away from retirement. Dude, that's the movie right there, the Pope and him. So who do you put? Like, what's your stake in this battle?
Well, I kind of want to give it to the Poltergeist too, because for like we were touching on before, it's not just one, it's many.
Many spirits.
Like possibly a whole Indian nation from what they describe. At least if I'm remembering that right. I could be remembering it
it's a
completely
whole
wrong.
really old ground.
Right. So I mean, there's not a few. So they got help. It's many of them versus one of this guy. And if we're assuming that he has practical knowledge in how to handle the supernatural and how to handle these types of situations, he's still in for the fight of his life.
We can definitely say though that an exorcist is like, we know that they can handle maybe 7 spirits
Maybe.
in an exorcism, because like obviously Emily Rose,
Right.
she was possessed by the Legion. You okay?
Okay, a thought just entered my brain.
Let that thought out.
Okay, reverse it a little. Well, not reverse it, but let's change the players a little bit. Keep Poltergeist. Let's remove the Pope. Constantine.
Oh, Constantine. Easy. Yeah. I don't even need to hesitate.
Right, but wouldn't that still be a badass fight to watch?
I'd be into it.
Fuck yeah.
I'd be super into it.
Because he's got all kinds of tricks. He's got all of this different, he's got all of these different knowledge sources within the supernatural and magic and black magic and then fucking just, he could pull out who knows what. Like the Pope or an exorcist, we know they're probably going to lean on the Bible. They're going to lean on their faith. They're going to lean on the typical tools of the trade. This dude doesn't have typical tools of the trade. Doesn't really have any real life rules that he follows by. The rules that he goes by are based off of supernatural law. So I mean, that would be a badass beatdown.
I would be more interested in seeing Keanu Reeves Constantine though, because he wasn't as powerful as like other versions of Constantine.
Yeah,
It'd be a more fair-sided fight.
Yeah, he had a lot more support. Whereas comic book Constantine was kind of a loner.
Yeah.
And I use the word
Well,
kind
you
of
get that house.
Right. Well, you're talking about like Justice League Dark stuff now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean more of like the singular character. Like he didn't really play nice with others, you know?
No, because he wanted to fuck everyone.
He didn't discriminate.
This is going weird places.
All right. Give me yours, man. What's your matchup?
Oh man. Okay, so we're talking religious figures versus supernatural paranormal entities.
Yes, and everyone in the chat, feel free to come up with your own suggestions. This heavily involves you guys as well.
Hear me out.
I'm hearing you.
Van Helsing,
Okay.
The Nun.
Ooh. I think you might have done something there.
I don't even like The Nun. Like, I don't like the movie. I feel like it was very predictable. I mean,
I wasn't able to watch all of it, not because like I just couldn't watch it or anything like that. Like I had shit going on and I missed most of the movie, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just come back to it. I never did. So real quick for me as well, and for our chat, fill us in really quick on The Nun. Like what makes The Nun your character of choice for this scenario?
so I want to make it a fair fight.
Okay.
I feel like The Nun is the most visible entity in The Conjuring. You heard it was pretty bad. It's the most vocal, so it's obviously the most visible. So it's the easiest to like see in a fight.
Okay.
And it's a very clear good versus like holy versus evil fight.
Right.
You know, so it's a really cool yin yang.
Yeah.
Thing.
It takes him kind of out of his natural element because he's used to dealing with like vampires, werewolves, that kind of shit.
Yeah. So it's an interesting fight because you get to see Van Helsing like work differently than he would in like previous movies, previous comic books, even like animated versions. You know, like he's never really, not that I've seen, gone against a spirit. So
Right.
I'm very interested to see, because he's going to come in there prepared, obviously, because he never goes to an operation without being prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And the church makes him weapons.
Badass weapons.
Yes. So I want to see what he goes in with. I want to see how he fights. I want to see how the nun, I can't remember what the actual spirit's called, but like it shows itself as the nun. I want to see how it reacts. I want to see how powerful it becomes. Like I just want to see the whole thing unfold.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But who do you got in that?
That's a tough choice. I feel like Van Helsing at least has paranormal experience. I imagine, like you said, we haven't physically seen him handle spirits, hauntings, ghosts, or anything of that nature. They've all been physical beings, werewolves, zombies, vampires, a Frankenstein here and there. So it definitely pulls him out of his element. You're out of your element, Donnie. And if anyone,
your comfortability,
anyone gets that reference, I will fucking love you. So he's in an unnatural position, but still fairly prepared. Like you said earlier, he has the backing of the church for him. Even that's kind of like a tentative relationship. Like they kind of have to work with each other. They don't want to. So
yeah.
There's going to be some discourse there, but they're still going to support him. They're probably going to prepare him, tell him what to expect, give him some new tools, some new weapons to use. But then we got to think about what the nun is. They're a ghost. They're a spirit, a haunting.
It's a demon, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so they can't really be touched by mortal means. Like a gun's going to do nothing to them.
Right.
A knife is going to do nothing to them. They have to be special in some kind of way. Be them enchanted, be them blessed, like whatever you want to use there. I honestly think it could, and you're going to hate me for this, I think this one could actually end in a draw.
Here's an unnatural position, but still fairly prepared.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat. Thanks for reminding us of the weird shit we say. I'm not gonna lie to you. I almost want to give it to the nun.
A little bit?
Yeah,
Why do you say that?
the nun is actually is well versed in fighting the church.
Ooh, good point. It's a demon.
Yeah.
That almost 100% he's never had to fight a demon.
I'm not super well read into Van Helsing.
Neither am
Not
I.
that I've
Neither am I. But the game was pretty cool.
Yes. The movies, okay.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Take the kids to a matinee. You'll go see something like Van Helsing.
It's neat.
It's neat. It's kind of cool. I think another one would be kind of cool. I want to involve Dracula because he also has a pretty storied history of fighting the church.
Yeah.
So Dracula versus the priest from The Exorcist.
Oh, that's Dracula, 100%.
You think so?
Yeah, because he's not... Dracula's superhuman.
Sure.
Super strong, super fast, literally can hypnotize people. He's got all the
I
advantages.
forgot about that. I forgot about the hypnosis.
Yeah, The Exorcist, he's well versed in exorcisms and could cast a demon out, I'm sure, but literally throws himself out the window. But well, I don't think he survived that one.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put Dracula up against a priest, it's gotta be priest.
Oh, good one. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Nailed
That's the one we need to see.
Who is it that plays that?
Fuck,
I think his name.
I can never remember his name. But it's kind of a cool name if my memory does at least serve me somewhat correctly.
It's the guy who plays Vision.
Paul Bettany.
Yeah. I feel like you maybe should have remembered that.
You know what? I don't want to talk about it.
Not that I'm trying to dox you or anything. But,
Again.
hey, I'm super good tonight.
Yeah.
I've only doxed one person.
It's a new record.
I know, right? I'm on fire. I'm on fire.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I would love to see that.
He's got awesome weapons. He's a skilled fighter. He actually poses a threat to Dracula.
I may actually go watch that after we're done here.
It's not a good story.
No.
Great action though.
But it's just a fun little action trope.
It's a movie that you can turn your brain off to watch.
Have it in the
I feel
background
like-
while you're working on stream stuff and shit. Yeah, for sure.
We could probably use that after watching The Serpent and The Rainbow.
What, the priest?
Yeah, it's just something you can turn your brain off to. No
Yeah.
moments where you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Wait, what do they mean by that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is this a dream?
Is this real life? Okay.
Yeah. Fuck.
Anyway.
We're recording now.
Anyway. Your next
Holy
matchup,
shit.
sir.
Okay. I was actually going to bring up Priest.
Who would you put him against?
Oh, okay. Wait, no. But we're still going to go with Paul.
Bettany?
Yeah, Paul Bettany. His character from Legion. He's a fallen angel.
Yeah, he plays Michael, doesn't he? Or is it not an archangel?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I just remember him being a fallen angel.
Yes.
Fighting other angels too. Super cool. Right? Yeah. God. I'm trying to I like him as a character and he's a religious figure,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm trying to think who do you put him up against? What's a fair one?
Yeah, because I feel like for this type of segment, we want to avoid the obvious ones. Like, we don't want to put an angel versus a demon, because that's just kind of, you know?
But it's also an easy one to talk about, honestly.
It kind of is, yeah. I mean, the show Supernatural has built an entire season around it.
Bruh.
More than one.
Yeah. But I mean, an angel versus a ghost, that's super weird.
That is super weird. Well, what if you put him against Dracula? Is that still an unfair advantage to the angel?
I think so. Because it's not even that it's supernatural, it's literally otherworldly.
Right.
So you need something that exists on another plane. Another plane of existence. Sorry. I don't know if everyone plays D&D or not. So I definitely want to do Legion, but I want it to be against something otherworldly.
What kind of... well, okay, so is the Legion angel the religious part of it? The religious figure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the question is what's the paranormal or the supernatural? And I kind of have an idea. Oh man, I can't think of his name and I'm gonna hate myself, but the painting ghost from
Vito?
yeah.
I knew exactly who you're talking about.
Of course, the painting ghost from Ghostbusters 2.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I am all about this idea.
Because he's otherworldly in that he's a ghost. He is literally a tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
Bloodthirsty. I mean, he's based off of Vlad the Impaler, basically.
Right, like a supernatural version of Vlad. Decimated an entire country with death and destruction. Evil is definitely synonymous with that character.
Basically, burninated the countryside.
Burninated.
If you get that reference, I'll be very happy.
Chat, get on the Twitter and hashtag burninated.
Truck door.
Yeah, you could even put the Legion Angel up against Gozer.
Okay, walk me through this. Walk me through it.
Gozer?
Yeah.
Or, the big supernatural being that fights them in the first movie.
Right, but because I'm trying to think of Gozer as a character. I don't like Ghostbusters 1 as much as I like Ghostbusters. Don't hate me.
I'm gonna just look past that.
Don't hate me,
And
please.
I'm looking past it.
Okay.
We never actually see a physical being of what Gozer is. Gozer sends...
It takes over Sigourney Weaver, right?
Well, sort of. We see No, she gets possessed by the Keymaster. And then Rick Moranis' character is possessed by the Gatekeeper. And their joining together unleashes Gozer upon the world and they choose to destroy her. So, we have two possible players here in this scenario. Not just Gozer, but also Gozer's Destroyer. Because the two kind of go hand in hand. So this almost becomes an unfair fight because Legion Angel is outnumbered.
There's also a scale to it.
Yeah.
The angel from Legion, he's the size of a man.
Right.
Even though he's otherworldly powerful and then a warrior who's fought literal demons. I mean, maybe. Wow, we're just throwing in way too many hypotheticals, I think.
Well, true. So to kind of tone it back a little bit to reel it in, because Gozer never actually chooses their destroyer. They pick someone to do, they read someone's mind. It's okay, you picked that giant marshmallow guy. That's who's going to kill you today. And so that's how that whole kind of system works. So it's possible the destroyer will not be a player in this scenario. We're just dealing with Gozer, the entity. Again, don't know what this person looks like. Even in the actual movie, Gozer appears as a humanoid figure, as the female with the crew cut that like zaps all of them into fucking oblivion.
Yeah.
So still very powerful. No idea what plane of existence this creature comes from. At least I don't remember. It's been a long ass time since I've seen that good movie. And
I didn't say it was bad.
childhood and it's not like, dude, I'm not even kidding. I am completely biased in my opinion. I will admit that 100%.
And that's integrity right there.
All right, thank you very much. So Gozer versus Legion Angel. I think that's actually kind of a good one. And if Legion Angel survives that one, he then has to fight fucking Vito.
Jesus. So if we can, I want to leave that one a little bit more open-ended, you know,
Yeah.
for the comment section.
For the comment section, let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
Who do you guys have against Legion Angel? Is it Gozer or is it Vito? And who do you pick to win and why? You know what?
I'm actually going to Google search this real quick.
We'll make it an Instagram poll. If you're not following us on Instagram, go do it now. I unfortunately discovered...
It is Michael.
It is Michael?
Yeah.
Ooh, that changes the game completely. Because now we're talking about an Archangel.
Yep.
I desperately want to see the Archangel versus Vito first.
Okay. You have Michael from Legion, and you have, I guess we'll really just say the antagonist from both Ghostbusters movies.
Okay. How do you feel about things, man? You feel like we can wrap up?
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to the Deadboy Lounge horror movie news culture podcast.
Culture.
I'm Third Trick with my co-host.
Sick boy.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Check out all of our podcast destinations. We're everywhere except for Apple Podcasts, I believe, right now. But make sure to follow us on our socials as well. Twitter, Instagram are the two that we're pushing really hard right now. Facebook might happen in the future, but whatever. Boomer buck.
So while you're following us on social media, while you're following us on YouTube and wherever else you decide to digest this show, please consider leaving a rate and review on wherever you absorb podcasts. It is a fantastic way for people who don't already know about the show to find it, to listen to it, and it tells them that this is something worth listening to. So just a few quick seconds, click on the rating, and leave a short, quick review of what you thought of the episode or the entire show. Super, super appreciated to all of you who do. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching and listening. Hope you guys all had a good time here tonight. Thank you always for joining us. Thank you, Leviathan Axe, for your follow. Super appreciative of that. Guys, tune in next week where we'll be covering Hush. Super awesome movie, Netflix original. So if you feel like watching that before the show, feel free to do so and then come back over here and talk with us about it. We'll see you all next week. Thank you for watching and listening. Take care of yourselves and each other. And as always, stay dead.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
He's got to be the Van Helsing of popes.
He's a renegade pope with nothing to lose. He's a loose cannon in the Vatican.
Go bless yourself. Yeah.
Oh, dude, we just made a new movie.
I would watch that. I would watch the Pope. The Popening.